the alliteration, but your persistent power-mad punch-ups are pissing me off. It's mainly the extremists, obviously, but not exclusively. It's a lot of mainstreamers as well. Let me give you an example of what I'm talking about, okay? Muslims. Listen up, my bearded and veily friends. Calm down, okay? Stop blowing stuff up. Not everything that's said about you is an attack on the Prophet Muhammad and Allah that needs to end in the infidel being destroyed. Have a cup of tea, put on a Cat Stevens record, sit down and chill out. I mean, seriously, what's wrong with a strongly worded letter to the Times? Christians, you and your churches don't get to be millionaires while other people have nothing at all. They're your bloody rules. Either stick to them or abandon the faith. And stop persecuting and killing people you judge to be immoral. Oh, and stop pretending you're celibate as a cover-up for being a gay or a nonce. Right, that's 2 ticked off. Jews. I know you're God's chosen people and the rest of us are just whatever, but when Israel behaves like a violent psychopathic bully and someone mentions it, that doesn't make them anti-Semitic. And for the record, your troubled history is not a license to act with impunity now. So, when the letters come, and I'm guessing they will, I can guarantee that each one of those faiths will be utterly convinced that I've singled them out for special criticism.
Why did it have to be us? Islam is a peaceful faith.
I don't see what's wrong with being Christian. We're a peaceful, loving faith.
How dare you, after all we've been through? We Jews know how terrible violence can be.
You see, all of them will be convinced that they're the ones being picked on. The Abrahamic faiths are like Scousers. They're always convinced they're a bit harder than everyone else. Right, and why is it that all of these faiths claim to be peaceful when even the most fleeting glance at a history of warfare will tell you otherwise? The relationship between religion and warfare is very similar to the relationship between Ant and Dec. You could have one without the other, but I'm not sure anyone would see the point. I wouldn't actually like it, but it would at least be refreshing to hear one of them come out and say,
Oh, our faith's violent as you like. We'll have a scrap, us lot. We do. Honestly, our special book says fight, fight, kill, maim, fight, smash, destroy, fight, murder, kill, and fight. That's why I signed up, to be honest. I'm a bit naughty, know what I mean?
But no, all of them claim to be peaceful religions. Yeah, peaceful right up to the point where someone takes something they think is theirs or says the wrong thing or looks at them funny, then it's fighty, smashy, kicky, punchy all the way. I know this will upset a lot of people, and frankly, I don't care. I'm getting so sick of religious people screwing it up for the rest of us. Please don't kill us. Seriously. As far as I'm concerned, this is the only chance we get. When we die, it's all over. There's no virgins and pearly gates waiting for us, no big beardy man saying...
Right, so how do you think that went then? Bit mixed? Killed a lot of people in my name, I see. Yeah, not really what I had in mind, actually. Tell you what, have another go as a worm.
While we're at it, I'm sick of religious people forcing their children to define themselves by their parents' faith. A 4-year-old is no more a Christian than he is a member of the Postal Workers Union.
A fair working wage, decent working conditions, and time allotted to see the new Transformers film,
said a spokesman.
Another piece of consciousness raising. You've all seen maps of the world showing what people believe in different places. In the blue area, they're Catholic. In the red area, they're Protestant. In the orange area, they're Eastern Orthodox. In the green area, they're Sunni, Muslim, and so on. And we all take that perfectly for granted. It seems entirely natural that people's opinions about the cosmos, about morality, about humanity, should depend upon the accident of geography where they happen to have been born. Suppose scientists worked like that. Take a difficult and interesting scientific issue. Take, for example, the question of what made the dinosaurs go extinct. Was it an asteroid hitting the Earth? Was it a comet? Was it the rise of the mammals? Was it a plague of viruses? All these different theories have something going for them. In the blue area, the scientists all believe that it was a meteorite. In the red area, they believe it was a comet. In the orange area, a virus plague. In the green area, the eggs of the dinosaurs were all eaten, etc. I hope yet again to have raised consciousness. We all take for granted that it's okay for religion to be distributed geographically in that kind of way. And yet we immediately see, when I show you a map like this, how totally ridiculous that is. Why do we all accept it as though it were natural and sensible and the way things should be? Here's another exercise in consciousness raising, again using the example of the scientific controversy over what made the dinosaurs go extinct. The Quarterly Review of Biology is a journal in which biologists publish their findings, their research. I have edited an imaginary spoof issue of the Quarterly Review of Biology devoted, as they sometimes are, to a particular topic, namely the topic, did an asteroid kill the dinosaurs? The first paper would be a perfectly respectable and normal scientific paper. Iridium layer at KT boundary and potassium-argon dated crater in Yucatan indicate that an asteroid killed the dinosaurs. Nobody would be surprised to see a paper like that in any scientific journal. The President of the Royal Society has been vouchsafed a strong inner conviction that an asteroid killed the dinosaurs. It has been privately revealed to Professor Huxtane that an asteroid killed the dinosaurs. Professor Haldley has been brought up to have total and unquestioning faith that an asteroid killed the dinosaurs. Professor Hawkins has promulgated an official dogma binding on all loyal Hawkinsians that an asteroid killed the dinosaurs. Professor Huxkins is personally offended by all strident, shrill, and polemical denials that an asteroid killed the dinosaurs. Professor Hallux derives deep personal comfort from his belief that an asteroid killed the dinosaurs. The President of the National Academy of Sciences has issued a fatwa I'm now going to switch gears and look at a couple of criticisms that the hardback God Delusion encountered. And I've mentioned these in the preface to the paperback, which is now just out. Interestingly, some of the strongest criticisms came from atheists who, although they don't believe themselves, believe in belief, as the philosopher Dan Dennett puts it. I'm an atheist, but I wish to dissociate myself from your shrill, strident, intemperate, intolerant, ranting language. Well, actually, if you look at the language of the God Delusion, it's rather less shrill or intemperate than we regularly take in our stride when listening to political commentators, for example, theatre critics or book critics or restaurant critics. Here are some quotes from restaurant criticisms of London restaurants in the leading papers recently. It is difficult, if not impossible, to imagine anyone conjuring up a restaurant, even in their sleep, where the food in its mediocrity comes so close to inedible. All things considered, quite the worst restaurant in London, maybe the world, serves horrendous food grudgingly in a room that is a museum to Italian waiters' taste, Kirker 1976. The worst meal I've ever eaten, not by a small margin, I mean the worst, the most unrelievedly awful. What looked like a sea mine in miniature was the most disgusting thing I put in my mouth since I ate earthworms at school. Well, insulting a restaurant might seem trivial compared to insulting God, but restaurateurs and chefs really exist, and they have feelings to be hurt. Whereas blasphemy, as the witty bumper sticker puts it, is a victimless crime.